And hello there, my little mathematicians. We are going to be practicing adding mixed numbers, so if you could please follow along on C-44. Let's take a look at that first problem, number 1. And remember, you're always welcome to hit pause in the video and then try it yourself, and then hit the play button to catch back up with us and check yourself if you got it right. All right, the first thing we need to do when we're adding mixed numbers, remember mixed number is a whole number and a fraction, is to get a common denominator. So what can 2 and 10 both become? They can both become 10. Because you look at the bigger number, 10, and you're like, can 2 become that? Why, yes, it can. And obviously, 10 can become 10. It already is 10. So 2 times what is 10? What did you multiply the 2 by to get 10? 5. So do the same thing on top. 1 times 5 is 5. You can do that because 5/10 reduces to 1/2. And you're essentially multiplying by 1, because any number over itself, 5 over 5 is 1. So 1/2 kept its sense of identity when you multiplied it by 1. I just renamed it as 5/10, because 5/10 is the same as 1/2. If you reduce it, it still is 1/2. So this one, well, 10 times 1 is 10, so do the same thing here. 3 times 1 is still 3. Notice how this one didn't change because I legitimately multiplied it by 1. Now that you have the same common denominator for both of them, keep the denominator the same and then combine the numerators. 5 plus 3 is 8. And then here's the trap. Actually, there's 2 traps within this problem. First trap is some people forget to reduce. Always remember to reduce. What can go into both 8 and 10? 2 can. Please take the 2 seconds to write what you're dividing by so you don't make a silly error. Okay, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Notice how I left a pretty wide gap there. Why did I do that? Because the other mistake is people forget all about these whole numbers right here. 3 plus 4 is 7. And that's why sometimes it's good to estimate before you even start and be like, all right, 3.5 plus 4.5. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7, so it's going to be bigger than 7. So like 7-ish. And so if you got an answer of like 4/5, I'm done. You'd be like, wait a minute, what? It's supposed to be bigger than 7. Oh, I forgot the whole numbers. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Don't forget to tack that on in the front. All right, let's try a little bit, actually not a little bit tougher, quite a bit tougher, number 10. If you take a look at number 10, can 3 become 12? Why, yes, it can. So that's my common denominator. If it couldn't become 12, then you go, okay, 12 times 2 is 24. Can 3 become 24? Yes, it can. If it couldn't, you go 12 times 3 is 36. Can 3 become 36? And you do that until you find a common denominator. Okay, 12 times what is 12? 1. So 7 times 1 is 7. 3 times what is 12? 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. Now, I renamed 2/3 as 8/12 because if you reduce this, it's still equivalent to 2/3. And I didn't necessarily rename this because it already had the same denominator that it needed. Now that you have the same denominator, keep it the same and add your numerators. 8 plus 7 is 15. Don't forget those whole numbers out in front. 8 plus 8 is 16. And then you have 1 plus 1 plus 1. So that is 3. All right. Now this one is a little bit tricky for 2 reasons. First off, this is an improper fraction. When you have the top number bigger than the bottom number, that is improper. So to get rid of that and fix it, you take the top number, divide it by the bottom number, because it's top divided by bottom. Remember, big dog goes in the house or in and out. So inside the house, outside the house. 12 goes into 15 once. 1 times 12 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. You put your remainder over what you divided by. So that means you still had this 36 plus the 15/12 is the same thing as 1 and 3/12. So now add your whole number. 36 plus 1 is 37. And you still have that 3/12 fraction. But if I were to look for that down at the bottom, would you be able to find that? No. Because 3/12 can reduce by 3. So the whole number stays the same. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Can't reduce it anymore, so you're done. This had 2 things happen within the same problem. Well, actually several things. You had to get a common denominator. You had to change an improper to a mixed number and combine that with your already whole number in front. And we also had to reduce the fraction. So a lot of steps within that problem. If you got number 10 right all on your own, good job. Feel confident. Okay, to solve this, you are going to, once you find an answer, cross it off down at the bottom. So in other words, if you got 7 4/5 for the first one, I would cross off the G up above, and you can do that too if you want to make it easier to not mix them all up. So then you also have for number 10 is 37 1/4. So I'm going to find that one and cross off the number up above it. Your answer to the joke will be what's remaining. Before I officially cut this off, number 14 is a little bit tricky. I'm just going to get you started on what numbers you do in that problem. So it says legs on a computer table. Okay, so that's this part right here on the table are 23 7/8. The top is 24 inches wide and 48 inches long and 1 3/16 inches thick. So if you think about that, you have, if this is like a 3D shape up here, okay, there you go, there's my desk. So I have, let me change the color so that you can see it more easily. The length and the width. So the width is this part back here. That is 24 inches wide and 48 inches long. So if that's the top of your surface, does that contribute to the height of how far it is off the ground? No. Neither this one nor that one helps contribute. However, the thickness of the table, that like kind of adds on to the length of the leg. And it says that the thickness is 1 3/16. So if I want to find how high off the floor the table surface is, I need to combine the leg and then the thickness of the table. So that 23 7/8 and that 1 3/16. Those are the only 2 numbers we need to add. The 48 and 24 were superfluous. Okay, there were extra pieces of information that you did not need. All right, go ahead and try the rest of the worksheet. And once you are done, you can go ahead and check yourself. Okay, so you can hit pause on the video and check to see that you got the same answers. Congratulations, my little mathematicians, at mastering yet another standard.